donor-centered leadership activities?
Nope.
Can you say
No,
that in a way that will
development
work?
offices, as they traditionally exist in all kinds of organizations, are not structured to maximize profit. They're structured to interfere with the attempt to be more profitable. And it's really, it's such an interesting issue. So most development operations are structured by program. So you have the direct marketing people, they're usually in the basement, because like, they're down there in the bottom level of fundraising. And the plan giving people, they're up on the top floor, closer to God, right? You know, so because that's what they're dealing with. And you have everybody separated by the type of fundraising they do. On top of that, you have everybody titled by fundraising program. And while that's okay most of the time, what happens when a particular fundraising program falls out of favor with donors and your title and all that that title means in your sense of self-worth and your position in the department are affected? And actually we're seeing that happen right now because direct mail is a form of fundraising that is decreasingly popular with donors. There's all kinds of reasons. By the way, direct mail will never be unimportant in fundraising, but it's going to turn into a communications device that leads to a different kind of giving. It's not going to remain as the means by which donors transact a lot of gifts. So that's changing as we speak. But if your title is manager of direct mail, you are now manager of a program that's declining in popularity with donors, and that can't make you feel very good. So naming people after fundraising programs is problematic. The second and more important thing is that when you have fundraising organized by program, the expectation is that every program will make more money, and then will make money, and that next year it'll make more money than it made last year, and again, and again, and again. And so if I go back to the example of direct mail, not because I'm picking on them, but because it's the thing in my head. If you are the manager of the direct mail program, the expectation is you're going to make more money this year in that program than you made last year. And so in order to do that, you have to hang on to the minority of donors in your program who are giving you the most money. So in all fundraising programs, and the ratio varies, but in direct mail, about 30% of the donors who are in the direct mail program and active right now are giving you 70% of the revenue in that program. So you need that 30% of donors in order to keep your revenue up. If you lost them, your revenue would plummet by a huge amount, and you'd get a poor evaluation, or you might even get fired. But those same 30% who are giving above the norm in gift value are actually signaling their readiness for something more. They belong in the hands of the relationship officers one floor up in the major gifts department, who can then take those donors who are signaling, yoo-hoo, the average gift value is $50, but I just gave you $250, and you should probably notice that because I have more behind it. But if the direct mail manager lets them go, he's going to be in big trouble. And so instead of being encouraged to hand off these ready donors to the next level up, he hoards them. He hoards them because he has to, because fundraising is operated by silos instead of operated to flow, purposefully to flow the donor as soon as possible through and up to the maximum giving opportunity that not is available, but that the donor is signaling they're ready to cooperate with at that point in time. And so here's what should happen. Instead of being punished for a drop in revenue, the manager of direct mail should be rewarded with promotion, higher pay, whatever you reward people with, for the more donors they hand off to the major gifts officer. And it shouldn't matter if their revenue rises or falls. And it will fall, and it will take a long time to build it back up. But so the manager should be evaluated on a couple of things. Donor retention. Are you keeping the donors in your program instead of losing most of them? Because we lose 90% of them very quickly. And we lose 65% between the first gift and the second ask. So are you improving those statistics? Because if you've lost the donor, all hope for the future is lost. The gifts officer never gets them because they never knew they had them. They never knew they were giving in the first place. And so that's the real calamity. But second, how many donors did you ready for the gifts officer? Which means A, you held on to them, and B, you imparted good information. You communicated with them while they were still in the direct mail program. So by the time they're moved into the hands of the gifts officer, they know more. Because gifts officers spend, if it takes on average 9 to 18 months to close the first major gift when you get a prospect in your pool as a gifts officer, and that's what it takes. You spend almost all of that time bringing the donor up to speed. And then finally you ask them for the gift. But what if more of that happened down in the direct mail operation or direct marketing operation, where donors became more knowledgeable about why you're raising funds and what you're trying to accomplish now and in the bigger picture? And then perhaps your gifts officer could close the sale in 3 months instead of 9 or 18. And that makes that end of the business even more productive. So it's all in how you measure performance and then how you organize a department. So in organizing it, you praise the meeting that is, as a manager, that is held between the head of direct mail and the head of major giving or the gifts officers, where that transition of donors takes place. That should be encouraged. The manager doesn't have to be in the room, or the leader or the director doesn't have to be in the room, but it has to happen, and it should be an expectation of work performance.